it's your boy, Benny. Elites never punish the liars. They themselves are the liars. Elites only ever punish people who tell the truth. And they become hysterical when you ask the wrong questions. I have a great example of this, actually, that just happened. A man drove into Joe Biden's motorcade, threatening the life of Joe Biden. Of course, that shouldn't happen. This is what happened on camera. It was all captured. Check this out.
Mr. President, why are you losing to Trump in the polls?
So a driver drove into Joe Biden's motorcade, and you saw that. You heard the big crash there. A drunk driver crashed into the presidential motorcade. So loud was that crash and so close was it to Joe Biden that you could, of course, hear it. And Joe was, of course, startled, and his Secret Service had to jump on him and rush him into the car. That drunk driver was released the same night. He'll be charged with drunk driving, but he's free to go. So let's compare and contrast that, driving drunk into the president's motorcade, with asking Hillary Clinton about Jeffrey Epstein's private airline, the Lolita Express, and why her husband, Bill Clinton, flew on it so many times.
You want somebody who's going to get up every day.
Hey, Hillary, why'd your husband visit Epstein Island 26 times?
Oh, interesting. Hey, Hillary, why'd your husband go to Epstein Island 26 times? Asks Alex Rosen to Hillary Clinton's face. And how was he treated? Was he treated better or worse than the drunk driver who slammed into the presidential motorcade? The drunk driver wasn't dragged out of his vehicle. The drunk driver didn't have his shirt ripped off. The drunk driver wasn't surrounded by dozens of security officers. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, the drunk driver didn't have mobs of Democrats surrounding him, screaming at him. But this individual who called out Bill Clinton's flights on Jeffrey Epstein's plane had his shirt ripped off, dragged out of an event, surrounded by security, had crowds scream at him just for asking a simple question, a question that, of course, we know to be true. So these are the questions you're not allowed to ask. And this is why. Because too many powerful people are implicated. Because it's too embarrassing for our elites. They don't want you to know, but it's not up to them anymore. Over 170 associates will be named in a court document set to be unsealed in the first days of 2024. A judge has ruled to unseal documents that would name 177 does. That means like the unnamed John Does inside a court document, who are Epstein's friends, recruiters, and victims within the coming weeks. The material is related to a defamation case brought by Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Roberts, New York, against Epstein, Madame Ghislaine Maxwell. The hundreds of files will shed new light on the late financier's sex trafficking operation and his network of influence. Oh, no. So a base judge has ruled, and here is indeed the ruling, has ruled that you will no longer be able to hide. And why would you want to hide? Why would you ever want to protect the foremost predator on earth? The foremost pederast on earth? Why would you wish to protect him? Judge Loretta Preska wrote unsealed in full next to the names of 177 does who are Epstein's friends, recruiters, and I wonder how many Time's Up people will be against this. How many Women's March hat-wearing feminists will be against the release of this list? It will be quite interesting to see, ladies and gentlemen. The reason why it's so going to be so fascinating to see what happens next is, well, we're already starting to get new leaks out of the Epstein files. A new photo was taken by Jeffrey Epstein himself, has just been released, of Bill Gates with an Epstein victim. Oh my goodness, this is the photo. Oh no. This was an underage victim who was being sex trafficked by Epstein. The photo was reportedly taken in 2014 after Epstein was already convicted for soliciting and procuring prostitution of a minor. The woman in the photo is a Polish model in her 20s at the time the photo was taken. The woman who was made a promise by Epstein and many others was also seen in photos with Woody Allen and Charlie Rose. An unidentified woman didn't accuse Gates of any wrongdoing. However, the development raises more questions about why Gates was hanging out with, well, the monster, Jeffrey Epstein. And when asked about it, Bill Gates tells you exactly what he thinks of his dear friend, Jeffrey Epstein, with whom he was so close that his wife left him. Just an important reminder. Melinda Gates left Bill Gates because he was so close to Jeffrey Epstein. Here's how Jeffrey Epstein responds.
No, I've said I regretted having those dinners. And there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead. So, in general, you always have to be careful.
You always have to be careful. Oh, it'll be so nice to get justice against these monsters. Bill Clinton flew on disgraced donor's jet. Disgraced donor. That's a nice way of saying the world's foremost predator. 26 times. I wonder who they're protecting here. I wonder. Remember, you're allowed to, the guy who slammed into Joe Biden's motorcade got less of a punishment than the person who asked Hillary Clinton about Jeffrey Epstein. Even though we know that the flight logs for the Lolita Express reveal how many trips Bill Clinton took on the plane. It was a lot of trips Bill Clinton took on Jeffrey Epstein's disgraced private jet. There's the names. President William J. Clinton. Gonna be hard. Gonna be real hard. Trust the science, libs like to say. Well, it's gonna be real hard to not trust the literal flight logs. Ooh, baby. Oh, baby. It gets so good. It's gonna be so interesting to find out the truth. Will we ever know the truth? Not if Bill Clinton has his way. Bill Clinton was asked about this in public and had this to say.
Any comments on the alleged allegation of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein? No.
I think the evidence speaks for itself. And then look at Bill. Look at that. Oh, man. When you get this look from Bill, look at this one. Bill looks back at him. Bill looks back at him like, dude, you better tighten the locks on your jail cell. You're going to hear those 2-inch heels and the pantsuit swishing and the cackling of Hillary coming down the corridor in the hallway. The walls are closing in. We don't like using that terminology because it's a meme, but it literally is true. Marsha Blackburn's been asking for the release of Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs. She's a senator from Tennessee. She's been asking, and Democrats have been blocking that release. Dick Durbin, who's the guy who's in charge of the Judiciary Committee, who could release the flight logs, has decided that he's not going to. And instead has decided to attack Fox News for asking.
Can I ask you a quick question? Why won't you subpoena Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs?
So who are you?
Hillary Vaughn with Fox.
With Fox, of course. I don't know anything about his flight logs.
But why won't you subpoena them? Why don't you want to know?
I don't know the issue. I know who Epstein was, but I certainly don't know anything about the issue.
Well, he was charged with sex trafficking, so why don't you want to know who was utilizing his private plane?
Never been raised by anyone.
Well, Senator Blackburn has wanted to subpoena them, and there hasn't been a vote in your committee.
Said a word to me, not a word.
But aren't you curious, like, what high-profile or powerful people might be closeted predators and pedophiles? Doesn't that concern you?
Of course.
So why won't you subpoena them if you can?
It's the first time anyone has raised it. Thank you, Fox.
So are you curious about it? Will you do it?
Durbin's a liar. Last week.
Here is literally Marsha Blackburn raising that in the Senate hearing room. Come on. This is the first time I've ever heard about it. Why are you protecting this monster? Unless, of course, you are one of the monsters. Unless, of course, you are being blackmailed by our intel agencies, which is what another member of Congress who's from Tennessee, a guy named Tim Burchett, has been saying. Tim Burchett has been announcing that there are various members who have been blackmailed by our intelligence agencies to stay quiet about the Epstein probe. Burchett to Newsmax, trash can deep in the Epstein probe. Tim Burchett, Republican from Tennessee, told Newsmax on Monday that Congress has been compromised in its pursuit to obtain flight logs of dead pedophile Jeffrey Epstein's infamous Lolita Express, saying that even some of his GOP colleagues are stained by something that's forcing them to keep their mouths shut. The trash can is very deep. Let's have a listen.
My colleagues, I'm afraid, are compromised in this area for whatever reason. Somebody just whispered in their ear, said, hey, you don't want something to come out on something else. You better keep your mouth shut on this. And that's exactly what they've done. And it continues to go, whether it's the honeypot that the Russians used to use or something worse. I don't know. But it's clearly, you see that up and down the line. You see good conservatives vote for liberal policies. And
so that's hot stuff right there. My Republican colleagues are compromised. Let's name them. Let's go. There are moral questions here at play, and that have nothing to do with political party or political stripe. It's a moral question. So Tim Burchett requests Chairman James Comer subpoena the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein and private plane, as well as any documents that deem appropriate and necessary to determine who are among the scumbags that Jeffrey Epstein counted as clients, and highlight any who are previously or were government officials. Good for you, Tim Burchett. What a hero of the Republic. Good for you. Who would you find on that list? Well, we already know some of them, but perhaps there are many others that we don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, this was exactly what we asked Kash Patel this morning on the show. Here's what Kash had to say.
The documents in that binder, which I still can't talk about, completely exonerate Donald Trump. And of course, it goes missing in an election year. These people in Congress need to hold the CIA, the NRA, the librarians, and the DOJ accountable. And they're just not doing it. You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, you know, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if you release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list. You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word or whoever that guy is as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released. Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything, but how are you going to reward the FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out? This is why America hates Congress, and this is why I'm tired of the Republican majority saying they're going to get the job done and failing.
So are you, like, in closing here, I want to just be very clear. Republicans could get Epstein's list out now? Like, how would that process work?
Simple. One subpoena to the FBI. Give me the list. Oh, you don't want to give me the list and you're going to break the law and commit contempt of Congress? We're going to take your money. We're going to take Chris Wray's private jet. Taxpayer-funded G5 rides across the country to his Appalachian State vacation home, down to Georgia, and all over the rest of the place. That guy doesn't need a G5 government-funded jet. And the second you take that money, you get Epstein's list.
Here's the problem, Kash, is that they shut down the Lolita Express. So how are these guys going to fly on a private jet anymore? It's really a quandary, my friend.
Oh, man.
Why are they protecting the pedophile? Really, the answer to that question is the real answer to everything. Why are they protecting the pedophiles? Find the answer to that one. I think you'll, well, you won't like the result, but at least it'll be true. Kash Patel, thank you so much for your pursuit of truth. So it seems like we are asking the right questions. People are getting hysterical about this question. And of course, there is a full active front in Washington, D.C. to try and prevent this information from coming out. So what does that tell you? Over the target. Let's go. Let's go. Name them and shame them. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Stay based. Merry Christmas. See ya.